going to take a little drive now up to the top of the hill, which is Home Moss, and all being well, the camera will stay, or the phone as it happens to be in this case, will sit in the cradle and not pop out as we go over some of the undulations in the road. In the Land Rover Defender today, so I'm not doing any off-roading or anything, just in an area where it's like pretty much around here it's moorland, but from a walking, a hiking perspective, or even like motorbiking perspective, or just coming out for a drive on a Sunday afternoon, it does have a lot to offer around here. And it's one of those places where, apart from the huge potholes in the road that occur every now and then, it is one of those places where you can sort of almost come and sit and contemplate and just have time to think, which often these days, if you're in the rat race and you're, you know, doing a 9 to 5, which tends to be like a 7 to 7 sort of job, then sometimes it is important just to take that time out. Now today I've been driving down to a place called Glossop, where I bought a caravan earlier this year, and I had to have a camera replaced. There are certainly some huge deviations in this road, let's put it that way. I had to have a camera replaced, and actually that was yesterday. This is what happens sometimes, and I forgot to take the screen with me that sits in the car when the camera's on the back of the caravan, and the guy wanted to replace the whole thing, so then today I had to take that down and get it replaced. Now I'm just being quiet for a second because I need to turn in here into this little car park at the top of the hill, and what happens around here is you get bikes and stuff flying around, so I'm just taking it a little bit easy. So I'm just going to park up over here and then jump out, try and show you a bit of the view. I probably can't talk again because of the wind, but let's go and have a little look outside. The camera comes out of the thingy-bob and away we go. Very windy. Wow, it's windy out there. It is so windy out there that I can't really show you much without probably blowing your ears out. So instead we'll just go for a bit of a drive. Back through the hills. That's the sort of top of the Peak District, and I'm heading back towards now Home Firth. And again, apologies for all the sort of things you can see on screen, because it's not an ideal camera mount that I've got there for the phone, or a cradle. Bit of advanced driving, we'll take a corner off there because why not? Motorbikes out, a few motorbikes, KTM there, a couple of GS's. A few different bikes kicking around, like the older gang doing the kind of more steady riding, sensible. It is quite a challenging road, this as well. If you're not used to it, there are a lot of very significant bends if you are a biker. If you are, it's worth a visit, but you just need to be careful to get yourself into it, get yourself used to it. Unless you like a kind of an expert knee down. There's some significant holes in the road as well, which you've got to look out for. The weather today is really, really good. Nice, clear, crisp, sunny, autumnal day. Look at that bend. Carries on forever. Bit of runoff here on the bit of water on the roads as well. Runoff from the huge moorlands. But what day are we on today? We're on a Thursday afternoon. Question is, now I've done my chore of going to return that screen, do I go and do some food shopping? It's an exciting life, full of choices of chores. Which chore can I do next? Bit of a busy little village this. Got to be careful around here because lots of parked vehicles, tight roads. Not everybody takes it steady, so you've got to take it steady. Well, soon we're going to be kind of, even in the UK here, we're going to be bombarded by more and more of the US election. Trump and Harris doing their thing. Quite different things, of course. Yesterday, Harris went on, did an interview on Fox, and the guy, I think his name was Brett, who was the interviewer, just didn't give her any opportunity to answer the questions he was asking. And she did sort of struggle a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you should have a respect as an interviewer for somebody just because they are a political candidate. Your job, of course, in journalism is to report what you find, but it did feel as if she was trying to give constructive information, and yet he wasn't prepared to allow her to make those constructive points. It just sort of felt as if the whole thing was a little bit kind of, I'm only going to let you speak if you make mistakes. I'm only going to let you speak if you sound weak. And if you're trying to give an answer that sounds good for what you've done, for your record as vice president, I'm going to talk over you. And eventually she got frustrated, and I would assume that was exactly what they were intending to do, given that was Harris's strategy with Trump, by sort of picking up on his weaknesses, you know, his self-interest, his vanity. Now, I do apologise if the camera is focusing on the sort of screen and window wiper rather than what's outside. Can't really adjust that as I'm on the move, driving. Got to put all my focus and attention into that. But the political kind of future and the geopolitical future of the Middle East, what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, this potential threat of China invading Taiwan, all of these things that are happening do seem to continuously put this whole damp kind of rag on things like the stock markets, you know, people who are on pensions, where will their pension values be? All of these things are impacted, and impacted significantly by all of these events that are happening. So it will be interesting to see whoever gets the presidency, what their involvement will mean for the future. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And here in the UK, well, I know Labour is trying to build this strategy of growth, and we're expecting a painful budget in a few weeks' time. And the main reason for that is because Rachel Reeves, who is now the Chancellor, has told us that we should expect a painful budget. The question is, what is the strategic growth objectives? What specifically are we trying to achieve? And then once we know those, what is it that we're going to do, and how are we going to do it? There seems to be a lack of material specification, doesn't there? It seems to be a little bit sort of vision, and it's the vision that any country, of course, would want and should want. important bits around the how make a big difference. Very tight round here, lots of busy roads and sort of very tight junctions. Not so bad, I suppose, if you're in it. There's some beautiful views around here though. Some breathtaking hillscapes. I'm doing this journey at the minute completely by memory rather than using the GPS. For some reason, as I'm recording on the iPhone, it's not at the same time connecting to CarPlay, which I didn't know was the case. And normally I would use CarPlay in this Land Rover because it connects up to the screen at the front, the sort of cockpit screen, I think they call it. There is like an inbuilt Land Rover navigation system, but I have to say it's not that good. And now we're sort of descending back into the more residential kind of areas. If you can see in the distance there, because it's probably not focusing outside. I'll see if I can make it focus outside. But I think we did it. Just managed to touch the screen. But up on the hill there, behind all these trees, you might just about be able to see Castle Hill. Just in that little gap between the trees there. For you, of course, it looks like 10 times further away than it does for me, and probably even more so with the wide angle that I've got. In fact, I don't think I've got the wide angle on this in a minute. So anyway, I've waffled on long enough. You're probably bored to pieces, and we're approaching the residential area now that doesn't have any niceness really about it. So time to wrap up this little video. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and let's find out where I'll be next time here on Waffling Wherever. Bye bye for now.